Assalamu alaikum. This is Shauruk Mujumdar welcoming you all to the English news from Btv-Chattogram. Let's begin with the headlines. ECNEC approves 12 development projects involving overall expenditure of over 7,000 crore taka. Trial of Abu Said killing during July mass uprising to be concluded by next January, hopes International Crimes Tribunal prosecution. Acceptable election must moving beyond caste culture, says Election Commissioner Muhammad Anwarul Islam Sharkar. No terminal of Chattogram port to be handed over compromising national interest, says shipping advisor. Waves of displacement continue to flow into northern Sudanese city of Al Dabba. And Bangladesh under-19 cricket team level 5 match series with Afghanistan beating by 2 wickets in last ODI. Those were the headlines. Now moving on to the details. The Executive Committee of the National Economic Council approved 12 development projects involving an overall expenditure of taka 7,150.21 crore. The approval came at the 5th ECNEC meeting at the NSC conference room on the Planning Commission premises, with Chief Advisor and ECNEC Chairperson Professor Mohammad Yunus in the chair. Among the approved projects, 8 are new projects, 2 are revised ones, while 2 projects received time extensions without cost escalation, said a Planning Ministry press release. The entire amount will be financed from the government's own resources. Members of the Advisory Council and senior officials were present at the meeting. The 12 projects approved in the meeting are important rural infrastructure development in Maniganj district, rural infrastructure development in Shatkera district, improvement of minor irrigation system in Haur areas of Kishorganj and Netrakona districts, infrastructure development of Gazipur Agricultural University, establishment of one engineering college in each of Chattogram, Khulna, Rajshahi and Rangpur divisions, second revised, construction of Independence Monument at Sohrawardi Uddan, Dhaka, Phase 3, first revised, implementation of the remaining activities of essential family planning, maternal, child and reproductive health services under the completed 4th sector program, first revised, integrated development for operational management of the Directorate of Health Education, NIPOT, and Directorate of Nursing and Midwifery, implementation of essential remaining activities of PFD, HEF, IFM, HRD, and SWPMM, construction of B-type officers' residential buildings at Nirjo residential area, Taka cantonment, 4th time extension, second revised, for construction of Kalia Bridge over Noboganga River at the 21st kilometer of Norail Kalia District Highway, BSCIC Industrial Park, Tangail, third revised. The prosecution of the International Crimes Tribunal expressed hope that the trial of the Crimes Against Humanity case lodged over the killing of Begum Rokeya University Rangpur student Abu Said during the July mass uprising would be concluded by January 2026. Prosecutor Mizanul Islam said this while briefing reporters after the 10th day of testimony in the Abu Said murder case. Earlier in the day, Begum Rokeya University student Akib Reza Khan testified as PW-12. Meanwhile, at Tribunal 1, the 5th day of testimony against 5 people, including former DMP Commissioner Habibur Rahman, in the case of shooting a man named Amir Hussain, who was hanging from a roof cornice in Rampura during the July movement, ended. The statements of 2 people on the seizure list were recorded today. The testimony in this case will be taken tomorrow. Earlier, the 7 accused arrested in these 2 cases were presented before the tribunal this morning. Election Commissioner Mohammad Anwarul Islam Sharkar said an acceptable election must be presented to the nation by moving beyond the questionable election culture of the past. He said this while speaking as a chief guest at the inaugural session of a day-long workshop titled Challenges of Polling Officials in the Election Process and Way Forward, organized by the Election Commission Secretariat at the conference room of the Bangladesh Rural Development Academy, BARD, Kumilla. The Election Commissioner said the upcoming 13th national election is very important in determining the country's democracy and future leadership. Addressing the presiding officers at the workshop, Anwarul said the responsibility of ensuring fair voting is in their hands. No kind of pressure, fear or influence can be tolerated while performing their duties. Shipping advisor Brigadier General Retired M. Shakwat Hussain said no terminal at the Chattogram port would be handed over to any entity if it compromised the national interest. Shipping advisor made these remarks while speaking to journalists during the inauguration of the Laldiachar container yard in the Pottinga area of Chattogram this morning. Shakwat Hussain has stressed the necessity of engaging foreign management to bring Chattogram port up to international standards. Shipping advisor said Chattogram Port Authority is constructing the container terminal on a 32-acre area with 14 acres dedicated to the container yard. This development will increase the port's container handling capacity by 10,000 20-foot equivalent units. He also confirmed that all stakeholders were consulted before the recent increase in port tariffs. Later, the advisor inaugurated the truck terminal in the Bay Terminal area situated along the coast of the Bay of Bengal. During the inauguration, he mentioned that the Chattogram port is becoming increasingly busy. He also revealed that discussions are underway with 2 potential investor organizations for the management and operation of the port. In the afternoon, the shipping advisor inaugurated the Taltola container yard located near the East Colony of the Chattogram port. Shipping Secretary Dr. Nurun Nahar Chaudhary, Port Chairman Rear Admiral M. Munirujjaman, and other port officials were present at the events. BNP Secretary General Mirza Fakhrul Islam Alamgir today said a vested quota is trying to linger the upcoming national elections. Mirza Fakhrul said this while speaking as a chief guest at a view exchange meeting with Thakurgaon district freedom fighters and their children. The BNP Secretary General said thousands of innocent people were killed in 1971, while many women were brutally tortured and killed. He mentioned that a quota is trying to destroy the spirit and sacrifice of the Liberation War, although the country was liberated following the sacrifice of thousands of people. In this context, he said the country's people cannot forget the 2024 uprising and the 1971 Liberation War too. BNP Standing Committee member Dr. Abdul Moin Khan said the mass uprising of 2024 was not merely the outcome of a 36 days movement, but the result of a relentless 16 years long struggle. He made the remarks this morning while speaking at the publication ceremony of a documentary photo album titled The Bloody 36 Days of the July Uprising and Justice, held at the BNP chairperson's Gulshan office. Moin Khan said that many BNP leaders and activists sacrificed their lives in the struggle against Sheikh Hasina's fascist regime. They endured imprisonment, torture, and countless cases. It was their collective sacrifice that led to the People's Movement on August 5, he added. BNP's cultural wing Justice organized the function. Justice President and actor Hilal Khan presided over the event. Actor Ashraf Uddin Ahmed Ujjol attended the program as a special guest. A training and exercise on firefighting, rescue and first aid was held in Bangladesh television today. Training was given on doing the right thing, moving to a safe place and the correct use of fire extinguishers during a fire. Faisal Lur Rahman, Surface Commander of Zone 5, led the training attended by Bangladesh Television's Deputy Director General of Administration and Finance, Mohammad Rokunuddin, Chief Engineer Mohammad Masood Bhuiya, Director Administration Sonia Binte Tabib, General Manager Nurul Ajam, and other officers and employees of various branches of Bangladesh Television. Later, a fire exercise was organized at the BTV premises with the help of the latest equipments used in firefighting and rescue operations. Now, international news. Waves of displacement continue to flow into the city of Al-Dabba in northern Sudan, with the number of displaced people reaching 57,000, most of them from the cities of Al-Fashir and Bara. The displaced recount tragic stories of losing family members amidst shocking scenes of bodies in the streets. Humanitarian initiatives are struggling to provide food and shelter for the thousands of displaced people in dire conditions, while appeals are mounting for international organizations to intervene urgently. Today, world leaders are gathering in the city of Belém in Brazil's Amazon region to participate in the 30th United Nations Climate Conference. All countries that are members of the 1992 United Nations Climate Agreement will take part in this two-week-long conference. The main goal of this year's conference is not new commitments, but to implement previously made pledges. In particular, emphasis will be placed this time on putting into practice the commitment made to the COP28 to gradually phase out the use of fossil fuels as an energy source. In addition, the conservation of the world's forests, especially the forests of the Amazon region, and the livelihoods of the indigenous people there is one of the main focuses of this year's discussion. The reason for choosing Belém as the host city is this. This city is called the gateway to the Amazon rainforest. Brazil wants to symbolically highlight the importance of the world's forests and the environment through this event. It is worth noting that in the Amazon rainforest alone, more than 400 indigenous groups live, which is about 1/10 of the region's total population. These groups are at the greatest risk due to deforestation, mining, agriculture, and fuel extraction. According to researchers and environmentalists, COP30 will be the first conference where the world will acknowledge its failure to achieve the target of limiting global temperature rise to 1.5 degrees Celsius. In the first week of the conference, representatives of participating countries will present their priorities and action plans. Various countries and companies will announce new financing plans and programs. In the second week, national-level ministers and policymakers will join, where the work of making final decisions and forming consensus will take place. In this discussion, G77 Brazil, South Africa, India, China, and the small island states coalition will play an important role. Analysts said that the United States has fallen somewhat behind in climate leadership in recent years, and China and Brazil are gradually increasing their influence to fill that gap. At least 7 people have died in a boat accident involving over 100 migrants near the Thailand-Malaysia border. According to a statement from Malaysia's maritime authorities, 13 passengers were rescued alive. The boat had departed from Rakhine State in Myanmar and sank on Saturday in an area 170 square nautical miles off Langkawi Island. Earlier, 300 passengers initially boarded a large ship from Myanmar. Later, before reaching the Malaysian coast, they split into 3 smaller boats. Each boat carried about 100 migrants. However, no trace has been found of the other 2 boats, and rescue operations are ongoing. At least 2 people have died in the Philippines due to the impact of the powerful typhoon Fangwang. Considering the severity of the storm, more than 9 lakh people have been evacuated to safe locations. The Philippines Weather Office reported that the storm's speed is 185 km per hour and can increase up to 230 km per hour. A few days ago, the powerful typhoon Kalmegi struck the country and at least 204 people were killed in that storm.